Good morning once again. I'm Paul Mueller, and News Channel 8 is your local election headquarters. Congress is tackling a wide range of issues, from tax reform to national security and storm relief. But with the president going his own way on some of these issues, the question, how are lawmakers navigating some very complicated waters? Joining us this morning for our Sunday one-on-one is Florida's Republican Senator Marco Rubio.
Good to see you.
Yeah, Senator, good to have you back
Thanks
here
for
in the
having me.
studio. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Once again, I want to start off with health care. The president has signed an executive order on this. He's repeatedly called out your own party for not being able to repeal and replace Obamacare, Congress not being able to work out a deal. So now he's signed basically what's called Trump Care. And the White House also announcing that it's ending subsidies. Where do we stand right now? I think the American public is confused, and they don't know what is going on.
Well, first of all, the subsidies they're ending are the payments to the insurance companies to make up for losses that they might have on the plan. As far as the congressional failure to repeal and replace, I was deeply disappointed. It came down to one vote. Every senator votes independently. It's not even on a party line situation in this regard, and it's unfortunate. It was one of the fundamental promises that I made beginning in 2010. And I kept it with my vote. Unfortunately, we weren't able to achieve it. And the problem really is that the system we have in place now, it doesn't work well.
You're talking about Obamacare being broken?
It doesn't work well. So, for example, if you think about someone out there who's 28, 29 years old, is paying $300, $400 a month for a plan they can't even afford to use because their deductible is so high. And you've got millions of people in those circumstances around the country. That has to be dealt with. We have to put Medicaid across the country in a more sustainable path. Now, Florida, in that regard, is already operating on a waiver, which allows it to do things with Medicaid that other states can't do, cover people, but do so in a way that actually leads to better health outcomes than a fee-for-service plan.
But do you see Trump's action, the president's action, going somewhere and giving people some peace of mind when it comes to their health care?
Well, the way the rules, obviously, what he did is an executive order. Now the agencies have to write rules about implementing it. So, allowing small businesses to come together and create their own plans is something we've advocated for a long time. Making it easier to use a health savings account is important. But that alone isn't going to fix it. It certainly moves it in a direction to the extent that he has the power to do so. But the guts of what need to be done to reform and replace, to repeal and replace Obamacare can't be done through executive order. And so hopefully, Congress will tackle this again in the future. It's an important issue for us to deal with.
Let's move on to Puerto Rico. A lot of attention is on the island right now. The president tweeting yesterday or the other day that FEMA and first responders can't stay there forever. He and the mayor of San Juan have feuded publicly, and that there are reports right now that some of the island have no contact with FEMA. What is happening
Well,
here?
first of all, people have to understand, and I think we do being Floridians, FEMA is not the lead agency in a hurricane situation. It is local authorities. FEMA shows up to support local authorities. In the case of Puerto Rico, local authorities were a victim of the storm themselves. They were not able to respond the way you would see in a traditional storm on the mainland because the government itself had been hurt by the storm. They lost their own communication. Their workers weren't in contact because they couldn't. There was no power, etc. So FEMA and the federal governments had to do more. The only observation I had is that there should have been a defense response earlier, because I knew as soon as I came back from Puerto Rico, visiting 3 days later, that the logistics on the ground were not going to work unless there was some significant Department of Defense intervention to make it better.
So should the president have ordered something to be done sooner than it was?
I think he ordered them to do everything that we do in a normal hurricane. The problem is Puerto Rico's event was not a normal hurricane.
And it's an island?
Well, it was an island that had already been hit by a hurricane once before, that's already facing significant fiscal constraints. There's logistical challenges to getting supplies there. But in the end, the issue has not been getting aid to Puerto Rico. It's been getting aid to Puerto Ricans. Because once the aid gets there, it has to be distributed. And there was not a pre-existing distribution system in place that worked. And so the Department of Defense has had to step forward and assume that command. And we all wish it would happen 3 or 4 days earlier. My sense is every day is better than the day before, but they're all still very bad days. The progress is slower than it should be if you're suffering under these conditions.
Tax reform, a big issue for you, and one item that you want to see passed is an expansion of the child tax credit. Why is that so crucial? 30 seconds, please.
Well, if you're working families watching this broadcast will tell you it's more expensive than ever to raise children. The child tax credit, if we don't do it, there will be no tax relief for working families. How much tax relief working families get under tax reform is entirely dependent on whether or not we put in place an increase to the child tax credit, which I've been working on for 4 years. And so hopefully now is the time that we're going to get it done.
The Iran nuclear deal, hammered out by the Obamacare administration back in 2015, with the support of the U.S. allies, now being thrown into the spotlight by President Trump. This essentially looks at, or keeps the nuclear program in Iran in check. Why is this being brought up now?
Because it doesn't keep it in check. Number one, it sunsets after 10 years. Number two, the inspections are weak. There's no enforcement on the PACTA IAEA. Number three, they continue to develop ballistic missiles. Number four, it allows them to continue research and development, which brings them right to the brink of being able to truly break out to weapons-grade enrichment and reprocessing. So for all these reasons, the deal is not in the national interest. The president's right to decertify. The question now is whether Congress can make it better. And if we can't, then the sanctions should be reimposed. And again, I have real doubts about whether this is a deal that can be saved, because I think it's an illusory deal. It's great for Europe and the companies doing business in Iran, but it isn't good for American national security.
One more question. We're already over time, but this has to be brought up, I believe, and that's North Korea. Where are we headed here? There are many people who are concerned that we will be going to war with North Korea. Or is this just a war of words?
No, this is a very serious situation, and it's been one that's been growing over the last few years and has now reached a crisis point. Ultimately, I believe we're going to reach a point where we have to make a decision. Unless something fundamentally changes in North Korea, are we prepared to live in a world with a North Korea that has a nuclear weapon that they're capable of delivering against the mainland of the United States? It is my view that that's an unacceptable risk. I hope something will intervene in the middle to keep that choice from having to happen. But I think that's unfortunately where we're headed. It's a very serious situation, one that I'm deeply, deeply concerned about.
We shall see what happens. Senator Marco Rubio, again, thank you for joining us in the studio.
You.
As always, we appreciate you being back again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right.